Hello, I'm John Shull. 3 years ago, I started what has become a small global international movement called Enable, uh, a global network of volunteers who are using 3D printers to make prosthetic hands and arms for children born without fingers or hands, and for other people for whom medical grade prosthetics are really impractical. They can be impractical because they're heavy, because if they're sophisticated, they're not waterproof, and for children, because they are unattractive. We make devices using consumer-grade 3D printers that are lightweight and kid-friendly. And in many cases, children love them because it makes them feel like superheroes. This is a solution that arose out of a global network of volunteers who are really not experienced professional Medicare providers. But we've learned that there are thousands, in fact, we already have almost 10,000 volunteers or interested parties around the world who have gotten on board and begun making and designing and building and giving away for free inexpensive upper limb prosthetics for children who like them and who, if they outgrow them, can get others because the price is right, and for others in countries where medical grade devices are inexpensive, unavailable, or just impractical. I think Enable is the beginning of a larger movement, and while I'm quite proud of it, it's nothing compared to aarogyaseva. Aarogyaseva has already reached 100,000 people. It has tens of thousands of volunteers, many of them medical professionals. And like Enable, aarogyaseva is dedicated to providing radically inexpensive, often free, medical care to underserved populations and those who need them. Both of these movements are products of a new kind of world in which everyone is connected through the internet and everyone is empowered through the kinds of tools and devices that the internet can make available. It has grown, and it's done, I think, a remarkably good job in a remarkably short time, but we've only done a few thousand devices. And we've done that without a global partner who can provide genuine medical oversight and collaboration in making sure that these devices really do good, that these devices are accompanied by appropriate medical cautions, and that other needs the patients may have are met. So there's a really natural and exciting partnership to be had between Enable and aarogyaseva. And India is the perfect place to do it, of course. There are large numbers of people for whom inexpensive upper limb prosthetics would be a boon, and yet India is one of the great high-tech countries of the world, and 3D printing is going to be available in all of the cities, and soon in many other parts of the country. One of the interesting things about 3D printing is that while the technology is sophisticated, it's not really that complicated. A 3D printer is basically a motorized glue gun, which is controlled by a computer, the same way the computer controls a motorized 2D printer. We move a print head back and forth, and in the case of 3D printing, also up and down, and we lay down, instead of ink, little threads of melted plastic, and that can build devices of arbitrary complexity. And each device can be different, because to change the shape of a 3D printed object, you just change a design file the way you would edit a word processing document. You don't have to retool your factory. Now, once it's printed, it still needs to be assembled, it still needs to be tested, it still needs to be put in place, and that's actually a really good job for volunteers, who again are morally sophisticated but do not have to be hugely skilled technically. We know of some 9-year-old children who have learned how to use a 3D printer and print and assemble enabled devices. Some of the recipients of our devices have become designers and made better devices. And because everything we do is open source and shared and freely available, the pace of innovation and the potential for innovation and for scaling is obviously present. We're not sure yet how that's going to happen. It's a really interesting question, how you coordinate tens of thousands of connected humanitarians around the world, empower them to do the good that they are ready, willing, and able to do, and yet help them coordinate themselves, because you can't direct them, help them coordinate themselves to do no harm and to do a great deal of good. An alliance between an organization or a movement like Enable and between an organization like aarogyaseva, which is located in many countries around the world and is based in one of the largest countries in the world, is a huge opportunity. And I'm very excited that we're going to be able to kick it off together, and I am eager to begin. Thank you.